Greetings! Welcome to this week's Burning Questions, where we talk about questions related to arson, petrol, and other assorted things. Joining us this week is BMW Tina, who plays Xavier.
What?
Just trust me.
I trust you. Hi.
Yes. ATC Tavi, who plays Ricky.
Ooh.
I didn't think this through. I need BLT Groundhog, who plays Rhapsody.
Trust me.
DLT?
Yes.
Okay.
TTFN Nitro Typat, who plays Armand.
Hi.
And last but not least, TNA Noscavian. That was it. That's the one joke I wanted to get in. Pardon?
No. Nothing.
I don't know if he's just using random acronyms or he's leading up to a joke of some kind.
No, the joke was
I think
TNA.
they were all categories on Pornhub.
Oh.
What's TNA?
What?
Tits and ass.
Oh, yes. Okay, I understand now.
It's
Jokes
funny
are better
because
when
I
you
explained it.
explain
Shiver is in a mood.
What? No, this is just normal Shiver.
Yeah, I need another coffee. So, first of all, let's start off with some good news because we need as much good news this year as we can fucking get. The best possible news that we've had, at least this week, is that Jason Carl, our very own Jason Carl, executive producer on V5, has become engaged to Shane Easton of LA by Night fame. And congratulations to both of them.
He did it.
it.
Yay.
Congrats.
Sounds very cool.
We're very pleased for both of them.
Mhm.
Hear my clap. You can't hear my.
Hopefully they're both rolled down the aisle in caskets.
It's, with those two,
wait,
it
yeah,
is
that makes sense.
entirely possible.
Yeah.
They do suit each other incredibly well.
Or they go into the reception in caskets. That might be a better idea.
I'm just wondering if Jason Carl's going to give the look that he always gives in photos. That's it for good news, sadly.
I was going to say, that's it. Stream's over.
Good news? In this
Oh, hang on,
economy.
Groundhog might have some good news. He has sushi. That's always good news.
Tabby the Wolfist and I both did a charity stream, and we managed to raise $1,700 for charity. So that was
Well
good news.
done.
Excellent. Well, yeah, well done.
Well done,
Well
well done.
earned.
Thank you.
I feel like anytime we have good news, we should play a sound clip of the old guy from Futurama. Good news, everybody!
Good news, everyone.
Good news, everybody.
Farnsworth.
Or we could just get
Good
Isaac
news,
to do it.
everybody.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talking of Isaac.
No. Yes.
Isaac, last game. Highlights. What did you think? Anything stand out for you in particular?
Yes. I'm trying to think. Sometimes they mesh together. Last game. That was the one after the Prince.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. What did Isaac do?
He got really angry.
Not.
His compulsion came
But-
out and studied Triangularity's legs.
It's true.
That's right. I was like,
Wait,
is there
that was
anything
that
that
game.
Isaac specifically
Okay.
did?
That was
Yeah.
that game. That was the last game.
Also,
Hey, now,
Isaac
Sneeko.
was very, very snarky all through the game.
I don't think Isaac was snarky, but yeah,
Isaac
I think that.
always.
Okay, maybe a little bit, but I think the compulsion thing was definitely fun. That was like I didn't want to get a compulsion, but of course I got the compulsion, and it was fun to roleplay the compulsion. And then
Mm.
and then when everyone called me out, I was like, what are you doing? You're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Isaac got all like defensive. He's like, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. You know, he was getting flustered. And that was fun. Also, we tried to go somewhere we shouldn't. That was funny.
And we probably got caught.
Yeah, we all tried to get into
You
that
guys
church.
ever seen a vampire look like a fly?
Yeah, yeah.
I can hit it.
That was
I can hit it. I can hit it.
What about the mud?
Oh yes, the mud. The mud was great because you know what, I should have used Sense the Unseen on the mud. It may have revealed something.
Yeah, I kept making. I think it was after the game was over. I kept making jokes like that, where it's like you found a Second Inquisition logo embedded into the mud.
Yeah, all the places to use Sense the Unseen, nothing. Then Shiv has to like nudge me. Why don't you use Sense the Unseen where it's actually useful?
My favorite.
No,
my
it's still
favorite
like,
part.
look good.
I love the fact that Shiver got really excited about it too. Because Isaac was like, I'm going to use Sense the Unseen. And Shiver goes, yes, yes, continue.
Yes.
And he goes, on the mud. And he was like, oh, for fuck.
Forget about it. Doctor, what did you have to do?
Did you expect to see in the mud with Sense the Unseen? There's an undead parasite ready to leech the life out of you.
That would be terrible. Oh wait,
true.
yeah. What happened? Oh fuck! Wait. That can actually be a thing in VTM.
That just sounds like a very VTM way of saying, ask stupid questions, win stupid prizes.
But it's just that, okay, now that I've thought of it, you all have to suffer with it. What Shiver just described to me, I was like, oh, wait a minute. You could totally have a Nosferatu who allowed leeches to drink their blood to turn them into giant ghoul leeches, and then set them on the Nosferatu's enemies, which might be kindred, there's so many ways this could go very, 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 very wrong and turn an entire city into a nightmare.
What
That's
about?
She's right, you know.
Christine.
We could all just vote some idiot to be the leader of the Camarilla.
What about
You vote for a
Giant-
leader of the Camarilla?
Yeah, it was a really bad joke to tie VTM into the real world. Leave me alone.
How about we,
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
Harry for Prince. Harry for Prince.
Harry for
Well, I mean, we could mirror real life and vote a Satsuma in.
What was it?
Sorry, was that a bit too real?
Yeah.
Like a giant gold mosquitoes with obfuscate. You hear the buzzing, but you don't see.
Oh no!
And you get swarms of them.
Right, but how do they get giant? Are we in Oxford or Africa?
No,
Dude,
that
it's-
happens when
There's enough rain in Oxford for it to be Africa.
True. Touche.
That's one of the possible effects
Oh.
of animals drinking vampire blood when vampires ghoul animals. Just that
Hi.
they get big.
I know.
What's funny is you
Why
wouldn't
are
even have to.
We have that.
You wouldn't even have to really ghoul the mosquitoes. You could just have high enough animalism. You could control the swarm.
Guys, just throwing this out here. Do you really have to try to ghoul mosquitoes, or could you just go somewhere where there's mosquitoes and just be like, they're
But I
gonna
mean,
drink your blood anyways?
that is what I
Like,
mean.
Actually, they
Well-
wouldn't
Yeah.
know. They wouldn't know to suck your blood because mosquitoes find their targets by sensing carbon dioxide in the air, and vampires don't breathe. So
And he, yep.
I'm just
both
picturing how it would go down
spray
with
ourselves.
just using animal Ken. This kindred just walks over to these mosquitoes and he's like, "Zzz, zzz, zzz, zzz. What the fuck are you doing? I am commanding the army.
Could you imagine Kalo walking out one day and just holding his arms out, and these fucking insects are just like,
What arms?
Yeah.
He's dead.
no. Oh well, yeah.
Well,
Rip Halo.
Shiva,
No.
what was going through my head was where the footprints were. Like there was that one set that just appeared. So I was thinking, well, maybe it was like a Lasamba who used the shadow step thing, stepped in the guy's shadow, and then fist of caned him.
But what would be left for Sense the Unseen to see?
Yeah.
I don't know. Supernatural residence.
So you half thought it through.
I don't know.
This is like a husband trying to make up excuses on why they didn't do the laundry. You make an excuse up, and she's like, "Okay, but why didn't you press start?" You're like, "Fuck."
Yeah, but last session was a lot of fun. I'm curious what's up with the church.
Hmm.
I hope you remember the address or name of the church.
I can rewatch the video.
St. Cross Church.
St. Cross Church. Hold on. Let me write that down, guys.
Nitro.
You are the note.
Mm-hmm.
Last game. Any highlights? Anything that sat out for you?
I put a little drama bomb down. And I can't wait for it to go off this week. And by can't wait, I mean I'm nervous, but I did it to myself on purpose, so I can't complain.
Ahmad, what
That's
the
a pretty
fuck's wrong with
church.
you?
Pretty much. Other than that, it seems like maybe Cedra and I are deciding to join the cult that we were pretty sure we didn't want to join. So
Groundhog. I know yourself and Tavi
Yeah.
weren't in the game last time, but I understand you watched the VOD, so anything you particularly
Yeah,
enjoyed
we
last
watched
time?
last night. Just the interactions of Isaac. Isaac was great. I really enjoyed it last session. I enjoyed watching it with Favi. Because we're in a voice chat at the time, which was fun.
Aw.
God, I have to remember some of the stuff.
I mean, for you, it was only last night. For these two, it was 3. I can count. It was a few days ago.
Yeah, but they were also playing the game versus
Doesn't mean they paid attention.
I mean, true,
Fair.
but it should be more likely.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Meanwhile, like we were joking about a whole bunch of things throughout, so I missed some of it. Yeah, just I enjoyed the banter. I really enjoyed the banter.
Yeah, Amon, when you said you guys were thinking about joining the Cult of Mythos, Isaac definitely threw down some lines there. It's like, oh, if only we would have known about this ahead of time. They sent a Cult of Mythos person to look after him. Too bad we didn't know to save him.
Oops.
Oh god, this reminds me of just fucking hell, like I was getting really pissed off at Xavier at one point, just simply because like how do we know this? Like why don't we know anything about it? Because you don't know anything about this. This is why you're going to the church to find out what the hell's going on here. Something like that.
You can't,
Vaguely
Yeah.
remember my rant.
but you can't meta that you're playing a TTRPG game. You have to play as the person that has a past
I know.
of why the fuck are you dragging me somewhere you don't know anything about?
Another highlight for me that I just remembered. Xavier running into a window like a bird.
Splat.
I'm going to
like, we're
break
not
the
getting in.
window. I'm going to break the window. Pung.
Oh, and Harry got a new friend.
Hmm.
It took me a bit
Or,
to process what that meant, and I was like, "Oh wait, that's right. Harry
Yeah.
needs new friends."
Or Beretta got a new snack.
Yeah.
Mm.
Win-win, really.
Either way, eh.
Harry and Greta can have lunch together with a new friend.
Literally.
Or
Hmm.
you know how the ropes they have for dogs when you play tug of war? That happened for about 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
his
They
leg.
told him
Also-
arm was off, and Harry ran the fuck away. Screaming like a girl.
Harry wouldn't have been able to snack on him anyway because Xavier practically drained him.
Mhm.
He did drain him.
After I forgot how to fight at all.
That was kind of funny.
Bruja gets
Zero.
into a street fight, does like 2 damage to each person.
It's the one thing I hate about dice games sometimes because it's like
Mhm.
you know this one thing really well, but just for some reason, like you reach into your purse and forgot you had money.
Why does
Like
Xavier
a
have
punch
And
guy.
it's-
Okay, you punch him. You missed. You just hit dead air because you're a fucking idiot for a second. Like
To
I'm
be
now
fair,
picturing
roll 20.
Xavier with this dainty little pink coin purse, and he's like,
To be fair,
maybe
like
it's
for
a-
some reason, roll 20 has been picking like like the most inopportune times to just be like, nope, 0 successes, 0, 0, 1, no 0.
I do think the way V5 changed the dice system versus the older stuff is a little bit better because I think I can remember there was a case where sometimes if you got more dice, oddly enough, you had a higher chance of failure too. I forget exactly how that curve worked, but for I think it was what it was with really hard tasks, like nearly impossible tasks, like where you needed to get like a 9 or a 10 or something, right? If you rolled 1 dice, you would have like a 10 or 20% chance to get it. But if you rolled you are elder and you rolled like 10 or 15 dice, oddly enough, you had a equal amount of chance of getting ones and subtracting successes as well as getting the successes. So you would often have a better chance of failing. So I think the way V5 does successes is better for succeeding, if that makes sense.
yeah. Tavi,
Yes.
as previously said, you and Groundhog watched the previous game. Any thoughts, highlights for you? From you?
A lot of Isaac's behavior in general. With the mud, with the compulsion and the just making all these random sketches. Xavier not having a good time at the start of the night and then just going on with everything. Let's see what else was going on. I'm wondering how the loss of the Banu Hakim member and that whole scene is going to affect Cedra. What is going? How the heck did Amon do the thing with the lock? What? Hey, what? Where? What? Why? How? What? Why?
We'll get there.
Thought about the lock.
His mommy and his broja both are like
And I'm just
Come
we were
on,
just
your
watching it
parents are
going,
very
what
worried
happened?
about you.
Second Inquisition sleeper agent.
I have no idea what's going on. Let's see. There was a lot of.
I was the cyber werewolf all along.
Yes. There was a lot of Groundhog and I giggling over the scene where they're all wondering where Ricky and Rhapsody are. We noticed one place the coterie did not think to check if Ricky and Rhapsody would have thought to, like, leave word on where they were.
Do you
Nobody
think
asked
we'll-
Dolores.
Do you think we'll find answers to that? Maybe tomorrow or something?
Yeah, I think we will. There might
like
actually
that.
be
Day
something
after
happening
tomorrow.
tomorrow night.
Day after tomorrow.
No.
No, tomorrow night. You want me to tell them, or do you want to tell them, Shiver?
Please.
Okay, so like Groundhog and I got excited about like seeing what everybody was saying about Ricky and Rhapsody, and then we started pitching ideas to each other, and I pitched them to Shiver, and we have a stream tomorrow night, which we'll find out what happened to Ricky and Rhapsody. What did Ricky and Rhapsody get up to instead of being under supervision like they were supposed to? They don't always.
Yeah,
do
I
that
can't wait
before.
for Xavier to find out you two fucks ran off without telling anybody. This is gonna be fan-fucking-tastic.
But did they not tell anybody? Are you sure about that?
I mean, to
Maybe
be
Maybe
fair,
they told Dolores.
it's
That's the wrong
weird.
thing to do.
That's
She's the
weird that
manager.
you're saying this about Xavier now, because me and Cedra were like, isn't it kind of weird that they're not here? And Xavier was like, what, are you their fucking parents or whatever? Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. And now you're
No.
sitting here like, oh,
I
wait until
said,
Xavier finds out
You
what
all
they
were
did.
worried. You all were worried she might have done something, and I was like, well, if she did, Rhapsody's not here, so we'll just fucking blame it on her.
I mean, we weren't really worried that they were off doing something. We were worried that we just didn't know where they were.
So tomorrow,
I
around this time, sorry, Groundhog, not me. We'll be doing a little mini adventure of Ricky and Rhapsody and their adventures the previous week to establish what they did. Groundhog, sorry.
Yeah. Just to remind you all, yeah, you guys only searched the office. You didn't search the bar, right?
Like, yeah, in reality, Xavier doesn't give a fuck what people do, as long as it doesn't fuck the coterie. Kind of like Mo.
Yeah, as
Mo's
soon
helping
as
us,
soon
though,
as as soon as Xavier was kind of like, I don't really care what they're doing. Why do you care? I was like, you know what? Good point. I'm just not going to bring this up anymore.
That reminds me. You remind me, Tina, the opening scene where Xavier went to that bar. It's like you've got very little customers or something like. Slow night.
No.
That was a great opening scene. I really enjoyed watching that.
It was a nice little idea. It was sort of semi-last minute. Xavier just said, want to do this.
It was Plan B. Well, Plan A-2.
Xavier! Oh, well, are there any more highlights or anything that stood out for you, Tavi?
Let's see. The wall. How much time did they spend with the wall?
They've spent longer with the wall.
Yes, there was mud. What?
We didn't spend that long with the wall.
He's right, We've
was a
we've
lot
spent
of
longer
talk about
talking
the
to one
wall.
before.
It did kind of stand out that there was a lot. I can't remember what the deal with. I just remember that there was a lot of talk about.
There
the
was a
wall.
ward. There was a ward on the wall that we were trying to get around. It's also really hard to say.
Trying to remember what everybody was up to. And I want my baby back, baby back. Okay, I won't do that too much. But yes, there's like, oh hey, just suddenly there are ribs just hanging out in the open, being like ribs, and let's just go get some of those ribs. Those seem like tasty. With the ribs.
I suck it.
I managed to mark off the ribs. I mean, we managed to mark off 3 of our bingo boards within a short period.
Nice.
What did we mark off?
I mean,
his name is Mark Nelson.
Isaac getting really confused, or Isaac not understanding. Xavier going on a rant multiple times. Licking the the thing, using the part of the coterie getting completely stumped by completely non clues. Yeah,
Isaac, what are you doing? Isaac would be looking at the mud. Okay, never mind. Cedra, what are you doing? Oh yeah, and the other thing I remember that stuck out, and I should probably go over what the heck was going on then, was it Mark Nelson talking to Dr. Bowie and being all like, "You may be the only one who can save our clan from banishment. No pressure, though."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
the books as well. The books came up.
Oh yes, books! Not
People
the
offering
books!
books.
Not the books! Not the books again! No, not the books!
Conveniently, there was a bus passing by right at that exact moment too.
Yeah, I
Isaac
think
tried to push the doctor.
I think the doctor isn't super happy with Isaac. It's almost like there's a little bit of animosity there, almost like Isaac got him in trouble or something.
Mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, at that church. I mean, after it became obviously weren't supposed to go in. I was about to try to go in, but I got talked out of it.
Wouldn't have
Are
been
we
well for
going
you
to
if you
knock
had.
on the door or not?
What?
It's like, are you going to knock on the door? Like, somebody eventually is going to knock on the door. Are they going to knock on the door? Will they not knock on the door? Are they just going to walk around the building several more times? Are they going to knock on the door?
I
I'm
knocked.
horrible. I know.
I think was
Nothing
that the first thing you did? You actually knocked.
Yeah, everyone was debating. So then I activated a fortitude power and went and knocked.
That wouldn't have mattered.
Oh yeah, I know.
No, I get it. It was your pillow, your safety blanket.
Yeah, it was my safety blanket. Yeah,
Your hedgegoth of comfort.
exactly. I need a
Xavier.
stuffed.
Xavier stroke Tina. Highlights, thoughts, past game.
The doctor's a sick fuck. I mean, come on. Yeah, that doesn't. Not all Tremere do silly shit like that. Like,
Yeah,
he sat down at a Chili's and had a feast. Like, yeah, like act like you're at a
mean-
proper steakhouse, please.
in the great history of Tremere,
You don't have to
it's
explain
not
the
that bad.
He sat down at a Chili's and not a proper steakhouse. The doctor's a sick fuck. Just plain and simple.
But doesn't everyone like ribs?
Yeah, I don't-
baby back, baby back.
Xavier goes on rants, but Xavier's head's in a different place. He's been told
Baby,
something
baby.
that's very stressful that nobody else knows about. So
Ooh.
You'll have to keep
that's
an eye
going
on
to
it.
continuously.
That's a
Yeah,
difficult question.
There's a couple things, actually, one that Shiver keeps from reminding me about. So that I don't know when's going to come up. I'm scared about that one. So yeah, like Xavier's just kind of in the mindset where he's just trying to make people fucking use your brain a little bit instead of just walking straight into a wall. You know what I mean? Because we got this thing to go look at. Might as well go. Like, hold the door. Like, what are we doing? You know? You just walk up into a place. God knows what's going to happen. This is probably why Kalo walked into Garou territory and got shredded because he wasn't paying attention. Well, there's a place to walk to. So yeah, that's kind of what Xavier does. He's going to always kind of push issues that people normally aren't going to think about.
Like knocking on the door. Or looking at the fucking mud.
I didn't say look at the mud.
No. What did you think? Make
I
of the
was
murder
trying to
scene?
be careful. I was trying to be careful. I was trying to look for all the clues. Okay, there might have been a clue in the mud, hidden.
I mean,
That murder scene's quite interesting. Little bit interesting to see Caesar that way. For Xavier, I'll say that much.
Oh yeah,
Because he
Yeah.
doesn't quite have the affinity for his clan like she does.
What are
Does
your
that make sense? Like,
what would be Xavier's thoughts on the Cult of Mithras now?
Oh no, Xavier said it in game. Like fuck, they are good guys.
Mm. Yeah. That whole worry about what if the type of justice that they want isn't the kind that we're looking for type stuff is, I think that was all born from the fact that
You're paranoid motherfuckers, yes.
that and Peter Griffin's a very because he's Ventrue, he's very pretentious, and he seems like the kind of person that would be very controlling and be like, yeah, you join the cult, you do what I say. But in fact, it's just because he's Ventrue and we're all paranoid, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier wasn't there for those talks, and it's probably good because he does understand a couple specific things regarding his clan, right? He understands why he is the way he is, and he understands why we hate Ventrue. I mean, the
understand why the
Camarilla.
Ventrue hate the Bruja, though.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean he loosely will. He'll never quite look at it that way though, because it's always we were right, not you. Meta, I do, but Xavier, no. It's probably going to be, as much as he's this whole thing's stupid. He's still, he's got his own agenda too, so he still has to do things properly. And so, yeah, that's why it's for him. It's really interesting to see Caedra that way, and that's why he, at one point, he was stressing like, whatever we do here, we need to do it fucking quick. And so, because she obviously wanted to go talk to somebody, and then she gets there, and the funniest thing is she gets there and she's talking to Kalal, and he's just like, "That sucks," which is how Xavier feels. Like, the fuck, he's dead. He or she's dead. Oh well. Watch your back. You know what I mean? There's nothing we could do. We can't bring him back. I mean, Isaac might be able to talk to him, but like, yeah, it sucks. We'll try to utilize it to figure out what's going on further. But to be all boo hoo, we lost a member. So goes the territory. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, he respects Caedra in a different way. So to see that and then see how he told her, and then the exchange between her and Amon, because Amon's like his younger brother in that sense. Because no matter what happens, he's still Bruja, and he knows that's going to show every once in a while. And so he that's like the only quote unquote friend that Xavier really has, that has anything in common with him at all.
I mean,
Save
the whole
your
thing with
friend.
Bilal, totally unplanned for, totally unprepared for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it just that just straight up shows the humanity aspect of Vampire.
Or lack
Legit.
of.
Well, you know what I mean, though. So
Yeah.
we all have. I have pretty high humanity, so
Caedra
Kalal
does not.
probably doesn't. Well, yeah, and she was still emotional about it.
Mm.
So I don't know if that was
it was a
misplay,
kindred,
maybe.
not a mortal. Whereas if it was a mortal,
Yeah.
but a kindred of her own clan as well, yeah.
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 So, but yeah, and then to see Kalal just be like, meh. But I'm surprised of all the people, her and the doctor didn't think, okay, does blood taste similar? Whose blood have you always guaranteed to taste? Like, that's the first thing Xavier would have thought about. He's surprised that nobody else thought about that. If it tastes similar, it's probably first thing I would think about is like my sire, because most of us haven't really fed on too many vampires.
Celis, there are two answers to that question. If you're jumping straight up, it's however much is it potence?
It's
Hold on, I'll log in.
potence rating
Potence
times
5,
times 3, I think.
3.
3 meters. Or no, 3 feet.
It's fine. I can tell you guys, I'm in roll 20 right now.
Please. That'll save me.
It's
looking
definitely
up.
3.
Meters, because metric is better.
Yeah.
No, I only switched to feet because because meters would be a lot higher than I remember it being.
Number of meters equal to 3 times their potence level vertically and 5 times their potent level horizontally. The user
Okay,
needs
I
no
was right.
run up to make these leaps.
So 25
Nice.
meters across and 15 meters
15.
up at max.
The developers actually used metric.
Anyone got any different thoughts about the Cult of Mithras, or generally going with, oh shit, they actually are good guys?
Well, I guess this is more about
So
the
they're good
Peta.
flavor.
Fine,
But
good.
Well, hang on,
I
Tavi.
feel
What were you going to say, Tavi?
Define good. I mean, they're all vampires. We're all
True.
vampires. Define good.
Good for kindred society, because nothing else matters.
Yeah. Nothing else.
Anyone can
Nothing
see.
Really matters.
Nothing really matters for
Nothing
kindred society.
matters but me. Sorry. A bit.
I'm getting into a little rhapsody there. No offense.
Oh no!
That's not a rhapsody.
Why I said, oh no.
It's a 3 movement rock cantana. It's not a.
let's hear Rhapsody.
We just did.
Mm.
Isaac, what were you going to say?
Nice. Oh, I guess this is more about the Peta, but I feel like if I'd ever make a venture, it'd be neat to have him like in my lineage somewhere, like great grandsire or however many times that would be
Great grandsire.
removed. But that might be neat because the Venture always like to trace their lineage so far. Just a thought.
I mean, that was one of the first questions that Peter asked you was, who was your sire? Do you know your sire's sire? And so on.
Yeah.
How much of that is based on historical research, and how much is based on how much the Ventru pay to have their genealogies forged?
The minority will have paid for it because it's fairly easy to expose that sort of a lie, whereas an actual lineage is much prouder for them to actually have, and they show it off a lot. So if you've paid for this lineage, someone who has been affronted by this will expose it. Yeah, simply because that's kindred politics.
Yeah,
and then you set yourself up for a big ball. And also, you've got expectations on you as well. If you can trace your lineage to Vedatha, for instance, then you are expected to be a prince. And if you're not a prince, you're a failure in the Ventru's eyes. Xavier, Tina, Dave. Thoughts? Murderer. Oxford Ripper. That sort of thing. Easy question first, eh?
Yeah, because some people that I would think it is, I have no idea. I have no idea if it's somebody we know. Obviously, they have to be older. For one, because you killed a fucking primogen. Or you're just clever.
What's your line of thought at the moment that the murders that you've been encountering recently are of the Oxford Ripper or not?
No, I kind of want to lean that they're back.
Okay.
Somebody like that. Somebody we've talked to in passing that has something out for somebody somewhere. And I know that who the fuck knows. I'm using that because I honestly have no idea. I might be shocked if it's somebody closer to the coterie, but it's either somebody we've barely touched on, or we have no idea who they are. Kind of like Noma. But it also could just be, no, I don't, because serial killer MOs, they don't really change, not that drastically. They do start to
Mhm.
mess up, but not like that. You know what I mean?
And that's still a human serial killer, not a supernatural one. I feel like if it's a kindred, it would still follow its pattern more.
There are a couple things. I'm a serial killer aficionado. I might be one. But it's like there's a couple things at play here too, where they interrupted. That could cause this to be like, why blood's left there. And then if with the kindred, if they were starting to be killed, and we haven't found a stake, so that's one good thing. It wasn't like they
Just
were
some ribs.
paralyzed. So yeah, there's a couple different things, and people are actively looking for the Ripper now in Oxford. So it's got to be harder to execute his plan, especially if the Ripper has done any sort of reconnaissance on his own to know that he is being tracked. And we, as well as have been vocal with others, know that he's linked to the cult of Mithras, possibly. He may not, and we may be way off with that. Maybe, but we do have a couple different scenes where that links the cult of Mithras to not the cult of Mithras, right? So yeah, there's just too much that with Xavier's background. Again, he was never the guy to go in and do reconnaissance. It was always it'd be like if the coterie went in, they found out who it was, and then they're like, okay, we need somebody to go in and get him. That's what Xavier does. That's what he did in the military. That's his expertise. He executes a plan. He's not there. So when we're standing around and everybody was like, what do we do? He's that guy that's like, oh. So his speculation is he's legit. But I would say I think I do lean on the fact that I think it's either somebody we barely touched on or somebody we don't know at all.
Okay. Ricky Tiki Tavi.
How?
I keep on wanting to add in pudding and pie on there, but I don't think that really works, does it? Any thoughts? Murderer? Ripper? Yes? No?
I have no idea, especially after the very, very creative way the remains were displayed during the last session. Like, removing rib cages and stringing them up. Like Halloween decoration.
Hmm.
Only it's a couple of months too early.
Well, I mean,
That was special.
No one ever wanted to ascertain how that happened. Was the body ripped apart? Was it thrown around? Was it exploded?
Well, I mean, were the rib cages intact?
No one ever asked.
Then I don't know. Actually, I really don't know because Ricky wasn't there.
That too.
But yeah, like what? Seriously? Rib cages strung up and if I understood rightly, displayed in a public place?
Pretty much. I mean,
Somebody's trying to send a message.
It's a public place, but it was closed to the public at the time.
At the time, but what about in the morning?
Okay, baby.
That could have been a problem.
I will say, you haven't had any newspaper articles saying grisly murder site discovered.
Yeah, like I did call Pandora. She said she would get a cleaning crew up over there. This is we know that the Nosferatu have been going to clean up all this stuff when they get wind of it. So.
But I mean, but did it create a situation where someone would have to clean it up? So whoever did this didn't care that it would, without that cleanup crew coming, cause a masquerade breach. So does the murderer give a shit about the masquerade? I'm thinking probably not. Does the murderer actually want to cause a masquerade breach? Maybe. Does the murderer even know or care that the masquerade is a thing? Up for debate.
I will say very good questions.
Have we even established if the murderer is a thinking sentient creature? I don't know. They seem to have a pattern. And I suppose, you'd have to be able to have some level of cognition to come up with such that was a very creative display. That was different.
Very, very good questions. Very good
Those
questions.
are good questions. Yeah. I mean,
I can tell I'm going to
at
have
least-
to up my game a bit with you around now, Tavi.
Oh no, that means Ricky should probably end up taking another point in investigation just so I can play it. I'll have that happen after she actually does something.
That's the one thing that annoys me as a player. I will not pump any more points into investigation for Xavier. There is enough people in this coterie that have that.
And it wouldn't really fit with the character either, because you're the action man, not the detective.
action,
I don't know.
man.
I feel like
He
I
has
feel
no
like
genitals.
I mean, Xavier doesn't always act like it, but his actions taken are very much he's the sleuth. He's kind of like the one that's
When you go into execute, you got to have your wits about you. He's high wit.
right.
I mean,
with
I'd say he's more of the
moderate
gumshoe
awareness.
than the sleuth.
Yeah.
Just wait until
Yeah.
Isaac gets some fighting up.
I keep telling you, man, just come to the Haven. I can train you.
Yeah,
You can start pumping points into Brawl.
that was one nice highlight for Isaac last game. He didn't get in a fight.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
nice.
Or hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaac's got to train with him on some, do some like boxing. And stuff. That'd be fun.
Interesting.
Book
to see
club!
Oh yes, that was the other really big book club, vampire book club. Yeah. Fair
Yeah,
warning. If Ricky finds out that Isaac wants to have a vampire book club, Ricky likes books. She's not like a super nerd like the Doctor and the and Isaac, but yeah, she's like that girl that has read a bunch of Anne McCaffrey and Mercedes Lackey and Patricia C. All these these fantasies novel, and also just a few nonfiction things because stuff interests her, but more she just reads stuff online.
Non-fiction things like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes, she has definitely read Dracula, and she's definitely
Nonfiction.
read Frankenstein, even if she read them back for high school.
Now, you say that, Armon, with a smirk on your face, but Bram Stoker's Dracula is actually in World of Darkness and is actually a factual book.
I know, that's why I'm saying it's funny that it's nonfiction, because in World of Darkness it is nonfiction.
That will probably blow Ricky's mind if somebody explains to her. Oh, by the way, that's not actually a fictional book.
I
She's
don't-
like, what?
I don't know if anyone would know in the coterie would know. Maybe
Probably not.
Isaac, but
of course.
Maybe they will find out if they actually pursue Vampire Book Club, which definitely the first rule of Vampire Book Club is you should not talk about Vampire Book.
I mean, there is a
Ooh, that's a good
connection with the UK and Dracula because he landed in Grimsby.
I'm not for
just-
this, but it's a great thing for you all to do and get together and do a recording outside of the session that you had during the week, and we could release it to Twitter and stuff.
I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here picturing everybody being like, "Let's all get together at the domain and have book club and whatnot." And just Amon and Xavier don't show up, but
You're
Xavier
right,
gets a phone
SR
call
Kitten,
from.
I'm sorry, she's absolutely right. I assume you're a she. I'm sorry if you're not. I don't mean to cause offense.
Storm Kitten is she her last I understood.
I'll just
Maybe
say
you're right about
Storm
what?
Kitten until we get confirmation. You are a she.
Yeah, Storm Kitten is she her.
Thank God.
We-
I didn't
we've
want to
known
cause
each other for
offense.
many years.
You are absolutely right. He did land in Whitby, not Grimsby. I am an idiot,
was like,
and
what?
you are correct.
Xavier's gonna get a
Drop
phone
that
call.
knowledge.
Xavier's gonna get a phone call from Amon, and it's just gonna be like, "Hey, they're meeting up for book club. You want to come over and hang out?" And Xavier's like, "And do what?" And I just go,
Wanna
"I don't
go
know,
to karate
punch
and
stuff." Yeah.
Well, you know-
Groundhog, when that came up in the stage with oh no wait, I think oh no wait, we were teasing people in the Discord, and Amon is all like, I can't read. Like your sire thinks you should. She does. She does. Maybe you should listen to her.
You
Cedar
can't
is
punch
a
people
nerd.
with knowledge.
Cedra is the nerd.
I mean, like
I mean, she's
this
a
isn't
magician.
anything. I mean, I know Amon gets goofy sometimes, and it's entirely my fault. But Amon is the kind of person that is just sitting there thinking, "You can't punch people with knowledge. Why do I need knowledge?" I mean, knowledge is important, but not like the kind that I'd get from reading books.
That's the Brujah that won't ever leave.
Mhm.
Get this big encyclopedia and just hit them with it. Oh, I can see the appeal of this now, Cedra.
Pretty nuts, yeah.
Oh
You
man,
also-
Amon just. Sorry, that's gaming. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Amon's gonna have the fight scene from John Wick 3 in the library where he's just using books as weapons.
Nice, nice. Well, you all know since Isaac is such a big occult fan, of course the book club Isaac would try to push for being occult books. So I imagine he'd be like, this month's book of the month is the Malus Maleficarum. Does everyone have their copies?
Oh no! Don't tell me some of the Maleficarum is actually canon in World of Darkness.
I'm not
Wouldn't
sure.
surprise me.
I'm just hoping one of the books will be the Book of Nod, so that
Yeah,
Ricky needs to read it.
It's just
If
the
my
one
car,
page.
if my car gets broken into again because of you idiots,
The doctor got another copy. Remember?
yeah, and I had to get another window.
Oh, I've got a copy too. It's slightly censored, but I got one.
Lightly.
It's a Pandora arranged it, so it's a Camarilla authorized edition of Book of Nod with any references to Gehenna extracted.
Oh, that's
Sounds
like
like I'm
half the
sorry.
book.
Pretty much.
It's,
It's a great book.
it
Groundhog,
is. Yes.
Ripper. Oxford Ripper? Is it the current
Do
murderer?
you want my
What are your thoughts?
character's viewpoint? Do you want my
Either,
character's viewpoint
both.
on it, or my character has no idea what's going on and only knows that there has ever been one thing, one Ripper site for sure, and a second one that people have been saying that it has happened because that was their friend. My viewpoint on it is okay. So after the last session, well, my spitballing idea is completely as ridiculous as I thought it would be.
Go on.
No longer as ridiculous as the prince is the Ripper. That was never as bad as that, but you know. So Tavi had the right questions of like had some good questions there. Okay, so we have someone attacking a whole bunch of people. First question: is there any links between the people being attacked? Why are they being attacked? Is there any logical reason? Is it random or is it not? Because you can see that there is at least one high-profile target there from that Rapsy knows of, and that I know of, because I only know of like 3 Ripper sites now, off the top of my head. And you've got someone within the group of people who are investigating the site. So do they know about the people investigating the Ripper? Because if they know about the people investigating the Ripper, then it would make sense for where that body ended up. So do they know about the group? Honestly, a lot of it is just a whole bunch of questions and not a lot of answers, because
Hmm.
it's how these sort of things
I just
go.
had a
But
horrible thought. Just on the line of these sites do need cleaning up. So if they don't get cleaned, that suggests if they don't get cleaned up, there would be a serious masquerade breaching problem.
Yep.
And who gets the shame if there's a masquerade breach and all of a sudden the Second Inquisition is all over Oxford?
I don't
Pandora.
think anyone. Yeah, either Pandora or actually, yeah, just Pandora.
But I mean,
I don't think it's Pandora. If it was our fault, they probably would pin it on us
Yeah.
because we're.
See,
but
I was
by
gonna say the prince.
extension, I was
I-
gonna
Yeah,
say
I was
Prince.
gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean,
gonna
yeah,
go
the
after
prince
the
would
prince.
probably blame Pandora and would blame the coterie, but
Well,
if the like all of a sudden there's this huge breach and the Second Inquisition is everywhere and kindred are dying left and right, who are all the kindred who actually matter in the who's who of Camarilla
So-
society going to blame?
So shit flows downhill. The thing is,
Mhm.
shit with the Ivory Tower flows downhill so quickly that even before they try to blame it on us, it's probably going to flow back up and say, who appointed them this? And then it's
Yeah.
right back at
Mhm.
her. So, yeah, it's
That-
your city. You made these decisions. I'm with Shiver. I think it would be the
Yeah.
prince through and through.
and
I mean,
we're-
I think it would be Pandora and the coterie's heads first, but that I don't think would appease the rest of Camarilla society.
On-
I
It's
could
everyone's
kinda-
fine.
I could see
like
if the
devil's
prince gets the
advocate
blame,
way.
she'll
Hmm.
shoulder the blame off to Pandora, who will shoulder it to the
Mhm.
coterie. Coterie, Pandora get punished. Ultimately, though, it will go straight, like Xavier says, float back up to the prince, who ends up being the most punished.
That and we're tasked with finding out who the Ripper is, not locating Ripper murders.
And then
So it's
we're
a-
all fucked because the
Mhm.
Seneschal takes advantage of the situation and becomes prince. Fuck.
Nope.
Mhm.
So that
I know,
actually
I'm-
goes
Normally,
straight to
but
that
yeah.
question.
But the
So-
Seneschal isn't allowed
Does
power
the
for
sh-
at least 50 years.
Wait, so does the Seneschal want to be the prince? Is that why that came up?
He's Lasombra. Of course he does.
The
Well-
Seneschal's been doing some pretty shady stuff against the prince.
It's all conjecture. It's not like correlation's not causation, but motive.
Well,
Well,
because
then-
the
But then would the Seneschal do this tonight? You know, in the here and now,
Probably not.
when it,
What,
no
what's-
matter what, he's got to wait 50 years until he can at least take the
Hmm.
praxis for the city.
would you just
Is-
ask Naskavian?
Is Lorvan the Seneschal? I don't think I've ever
No.
met
No.
the Seneschal. Okay, that's what I thought.
Or
Do we
now.
even know the
It's the
Seneschal by
Seneschal.
name? Oh, okay, never mind.
So
Thank
Tavi
you.
brought up a super good point about the cleanups and stuff because historically every Ripper killer we've investigated, we've gotten there after it's been cleaned up. These
Mhm.
last few attacks we've gotten there before it's been cleaned up. I wonder how much of that is because of, say the doctor's premonition, and how much of that is the fact that it's not immediately getting cleaned up because maybe the Ripper murders are getting cleaned up sooner because maybe someone involved in the Ripper murders are a bit closer to the tower and doesn't necessarily
I
want.
I would put it up to the fact that Chuckles just died, so the Nosferatu are kind of scrambling around out of their minds because they're without a primogen.
My guess,
and
my
I
guess
believe
too is the Nosferatu don't just do it. They've got to. Somebody's got to report that stuff.
well,
it's
I think the
investigated and it's
Nosferatu. Yeah, I think the Nosferatu might be the people that find it since they're kind of everywhere and in the shadows.
that's
And then
true,
yeah, they report it to somebody. They come in, and those somebodies come
I mean-
in, check it out, and then the Nosferatu clean it up. So that's why I'm
Possible
saying
the
that.
deputy is the one or whatever.
Yeah.
The constable.
Yeah,
I am
Mhm.
kind of leaning away against the actual Ripper being anybody who might also have had influence over the cleanups to help clean up the things, just because of the hey, there are these ribs and they're all strung up, all nice and pretty for somebody to see this absolutely grisly scene that's been so nicely set up. Just for somebody to that struck me as somebody is supposed to see this. Someone wants someone to see this. Somebody wanted to send a message.
I know that all the Ripper
Or
murders.
just
Sorry,
doesn't care if
Grindhard.
it's seen.
Or just doesn't carry it.
Yeah. The thing I would say is I know that most of the Ripper murders that we were kind of finding to be the norm that we would either discover. I think we only ever discovered one true Ripper, like confirmed by the Ivory Tower as being a Ripper murder
Two.
beforehand.
Two.
Two. Because I'm remembering the one by
You weren't there for the very
John.
first one.
Gotcha. And most of them are exsanguinated, which means there's no blood at all. And these last 3 that we found have had blood. And because, like, I feel like if this was a real Ripper murder, the doctor would not have been able to sit in, the doctor and Caesar technically, because didn't Caesar frenzy or something like that? No, I think she had like a messy critical or something like that. But they both fed on the remains, and that's what's kind of making me think that the last couple murders aren't actually Ripper murders, because they're very outside of the MO. I mean, even Nomad did a better job of replicating a Ripper murder than these people, than whoever did the last 3.
He was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I was going to say is, if you've got a Ripper murder where it's all strung up and it's all very obvious, you can always look at it being as, well, you can take the opposite question as well. Do they know what the consequences of doing this is, and therefore are using it? Because if they attack the prince, they attack the prince, they attack the person below the prince, they attack the people ultimately investigating, and they get everyone off their back.
Well,
but that's not necessarily a solid.
Whoever's doing this is powerful enough that I feel like they know what the masquerade is, and they know not to breach it. So if anything was done if anything was done to be showy, it's entirely on purpose. But like I said, this murder scene was very showy, but there are many signs that say it isn't the Ripper. It's either a copycat, or one of our theories where the Ripper isn't one person and the people that are doing it are getting sloppy or something. But
And I mean, every killing, no one's killed anyone, like, I don't want to say in broad daylight, but like right in front of like Elysium or in some like really public place. Everyone who's been killed, it's usually been either isolated or some place where there wasn't a ton of traffic.
mm-hmm. This is the first time that I know of that it's been more than one person, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it might have been one person. They got sloppy.
Oh,
Some person.
Well, I mean, it was
or
because the Mithras member, I mean, they were both Mithras members, but the one was shadowing the other to protect them.
Only one was full cult of Mithras, the other was just Banu Hakim.
There's a major
okay.
question that needs to be asked here, and that is why did the cult feel like that person was in danger?
Yes.
Somehow the cult knew they were in danger, and they sent one of their members to kind of guard them.
Yeah. Also, the doctor's been getting these premonitions, and there are like Tremere and whatever, like other clans that have whatever power gives them that, and they're all much older than the doctor, so they might be getting the predictions before, kind of like Kalo did, where he's like, I know I'm gonna die.
Well, that's a bit different. You see, mechanically wise, the doctor's having literally premonitions based on blood sorcery. Kalo was in the Malkavian Madness Network, which possibly knows possible futures. All Malkavians are in the Madness Network. Be them in a state of unlife or completely final death, they're in the Madness Network, which is why they hear these voices.
And unless I'm mistaken, there's nothing against a Malkavian being in the cult either.
That's true.
I just
So-
go on.
No, Tabby, go
I
on.
was just going to say so.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just when you said that Malkavians who are already past final death can still exist in the Madness Network. I'm like, wait a minute, that's
Mhm.
that just reminded me of Bloodborne for a minute, where you can have characters who are dead in the air quotes real world. What is real in Bloodborne? We don't know. And then you can run into them in the various nightmares as still being conscious in a sense of consciousness in a place where nothing makes sense and you shouldn't try to make sense.
That's the madness.
Yeah,
Network.
that's why we've said that like we don't need to bring Halo's spirit back, or we can't bring it back. I can't remember. We've always just talked about let's just go talk to Balo, and we might be able to say something to Halo. You know, so
You can just imagine how that would go.
You
Sorry,
need to
Tucker.
show Ricky and Rhapsody where you all get your whitefish.
And to be fair, I think I mentioned this to Shiv. I've been saying that I would probably go to the fish market like once a week or two to get food for my pet back home. So I could just stop by and say hi to Balo at some point.
You know, it'd be really good for a grand opening or grand reopening of the bar after it's facelifted and stuff. Because we'll have a kitchen then, right? To cook food for the mortals, for the food for the food. And we can have like a special on fish and chips.
Oh,
Mm.
And we'll have to
I think-
go.
fish and chips.
And we'll have to go and get a nice big supply of whitefish for fish and chips.
I think
Thanks,
I
Oscavian,
think
for
Miss
reminding
Hart's.
me of the things I miss that I love.
I think Miss Hart's is I think she's mentioned that we should have fish and chips on the menu.
Fucking hungry now.
I need to go down to the shops and get fish and chips one day.
Oh, fuck off.
Shiv, could you order like tempura fish and chips?
I haven't seen anywhere that does steak chips here.
Well,
It's
you know
all
what?
French
Do you have
fries.
potatoes?
Pun?
Potatoes?
What about potatoes?
You could cut
can
up
make
some
your own.
potatoes. And,
I
like,
could make my
pan
own, but then
fry.
what's the fucking point? That's not fish and chips. That's fucking homemade bollocks.
Homemade fish and chips is good though.
It's not as good as
You can
going
make
to a
your own-
fucking chip shop, though. I was at one of the big shopping malls, and you know they have food bans in these places. One of the times we went, there was a traditional British fish and chips van, and it just looked like this lump of batter, and I don't even know what the chips were, but it was like, really, that's what you think fish and chips is?
Oh,
You can
it's
build
like-
a robot that serves me when I walk into a bank, but you can't do fish and chips.
That's
Chips are so
disappointing.
easy to do.
All right, mate. All right, I will give you maybe homemade fish and chips when you do them at home if you've got a deep fryer and you can get proper
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Yeah, fine, fair enough. Oven cooked.
What'd you
It's
think?
just not the fucking same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to
I'm not-
deep fry it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go and invest in a
don't-
deep fryer just for fish and chips on the odd occasion.
That's fair.
I mean,
That's
To be fair, if you get a deep fryer, you probably use it for
Oh,
other
You
stuff
say
a
that in
lot.
Scotland. In Oxford, when I lived near there was a fish and chip shop on the Abingdon Road that did deep fried Mars bars. Oh, they were great. Scotland also does
Deep-fried
deep
ice cream.
fried. Oh yeah, that's good.
So-
Scotland also does deep fried
Well-
pizza.
So, what were we talking about the Ripper again?
Oh yeah. Do you think he likes deep fried Mars bars?
Oh
mean,
no,
we
but
could go
I
buy
had
some and set them out and find out.
I had deep fried Oreos at a state fair one time, and those were magical.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, the next copycat Ripper killing, since we've already had Rip victim in Giblets. deep fried giblets. What if the Ripper
Oh
goes
no!
and kills someone over an industrial deep fryer, and the giblets just
No.
happen to fall in?
No.
Why does that make me
The
slightly
fish
hungry?
and chips is people.
I'm fairly certain, like, vampires can't normally get nourishment from deep fried blood, right?
I don't think
Could
so.
you deep
That
fry
breaks-
blood?
I mean, you can.
You
deep
can
fry
do a
it,
lot
but
of
you
things with
try hard
blood.
enough.
If you can have deep fried Coke, you can have deep fried blood. Coke
you
is
know
in the
what-
soda.
Yeah, I would imagine a deep fried blood would probably come out similar to yeah, like a deep fried soda. Or oh, you know what? What if you did like what do you call that? Like a funnel cake thing, but instead of like water, you used
Nice funnel
blood
cake.
for like the mix, and then you put like bloody funnel cake, like a blood pudding funnel cake mix.
I'm trying to make.
I'm
was
still
No,
trying to
I-
get over battered fish with fish,
pudding.
which I know was a typo, but I kind of like the idea of deep fried battered fish with another layer of fish over it. That actually could be really good, to be honest.
Oh, could you like a sashimi fish on top? Like, oh, that would be.
You
good.
all have
Rough.
literally made me gain back the 50 pounds I lost just talking about fucking fried food.
Sorry.
fried fish. With
So-
sashimi fish on
There
top.
was
So, Skavian, what you're saying is you want to take cooked fish and wrap it in uncooked fish.
they do that.
It's like a double batter. Yeah.
There was in the news here yesterday, a woman in Tokyo had a 1.5-inch worm extracted from her tonsil that she managed to pick up from sashimi.
Ooh.
And Takako was like, it's only some sashimi that you can get that, like bonita. I love bonita. You've had it. And I'm like, I don't
I mean,
have
we were
tonsils.
talking
Where
about-
would that worm go?
Probably into your intestines.
Oh, great. It can keep the tapeworm company. Tapeworm is also the best pet a person can have because you don't need to worry about taking it for walks. Wherever you go, it walks with you. You don't have to worry about feeding it. Whatever you eat, it eats. You don't have to talk to it because whenever you have a conversation, it's listening in. Best pet on the planet. Hey, Star Helix, you turned in at the right time.
And it keeps you looking thin.
Yeah, could definitely do with that.
Maybe I need one of those.
It's a pet and a weight loss program all wrapped into one.
Oh,
Ethan, sorry.
What's sad is they actually tried. Some places I think it still do try to sell tapeworms for weight loss.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
I think it was the 60s
Like
or
I
70s.
talk a lot, but have you noticed
Yeah.
I have had no input on this conversation at all because I don't eat any of this stuff anymore.
Sorry.
What, tapeworms?
yeah, tapeworm. Those would be helpful. Not gonna lie.
He has gained the weight back that he lost. Ripper, any questions? Anyone got questions? Questions about virtually anything that we can try and answer, as long as it's safe for Twatch.
You want me to
Worms.
open that can of worms, Shiver?
What?
Go on.
I have all kinds of questions.
Go
Oh,
on.
Okay.
Say them out loud. Spoils it for everybody else, though.
I have a question since this is going to be going into the next session anyway. What does everybody think Amon is now that he did that lock thing? I know you know
Bastard.
shit. Put your hand down. Oh.
I'm wondering, just the first question is, like, is there something going on with Amon that Amon doesn't know about in Amon's past? Like, was that something like Amon was aware of, or is there something going on with Amon that Amon has absolutely no memory of?
I
think that's
won't
grasping at
answer.
air.
But I will remind you that I mentioned Amon looked uncomfortable before they even got out of the car.
Xavier
Mm.
addressed that.
I missed that.
A second Inquisition plant / sleeper agent.
Ah, yes, the kindred trained by the Second Inquisition.
I
They
mean,
do
there
make
are
use of
entire
I wouldn't put it
animes
past
about
them.
vampires that
Do
belong
they?
to secret organizations of vampire killers. You know, let's see. Hellsing Ultimate. What's the one where there's a vampire that only drinks the blood of other vampires? That's called a Kruznik, and they're fighting against the Rosenkreuz. Damn it, I can't remember the name of that anime, but that's basically what it is.
This all happened at the church, right? Or no? Where was this at?
No,
This was
This was
a
at the,
Second Inquisition,
yeah.
like bunker, I
Safe
suppose,
house,
or
yeah.
former holding. It was on St Queen's College grounds, right next to a tennis court. It was a little. When I passed that building, I was always like, "The fuck is that? Why is it still there?" Because it is just an abandoned, random building next to a tennis court that's abandoned and not ever
Okay.
used.
I was about to ask you, like, what kind of building does it look like it would be used for? But if you drove by it going, what is that? Then never mind.
The only thing I could think of would be a
Um,
changing room for tennis. But why is it so bloody
Seems a
big?
little
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
There was that one
Hey, Philostan, nice to see you.
vampire involved in the Giovanni, who I believe she used the Inquisition a bunch, like the Society of Leopold, I think, a bunch to kill some of the people who stood in her way, and then after she got what she wanted in the family, she started turning them on like other vampires.
There's Marie, Beckett's child.
I thought it was Maria.
No, Marie. She used to be.
Oh, the one who was hunting Beckett, and then Beckett's like I'm going to turn her into a vampire. It would totally be fine, and then leaves her, and then she continues hunting vampires after being turned into a vampire.
Maybe
have so
she
much
was a
in
German
common.
SS officer, and Beckett thought it would be cruelly ironic
Why
to
is
turn her
that?
into a vampire.
Oh, okay. One of the
Oh,
board
never
videos I
mind.
got gave me a different version.
We'll talk about me and her. We have so much in common.
Yeah, how
Mhm.
cool would it be to be Beckett's child, though?
I didn't get that
Yeah.
part. I came across one of the lore videos. I forget if it was Primogen or I think it was Primogen.
I'm not as giddy and high on this Beckett horse as everybody else. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I've watched a bunch of videos.
I thought Beckett could turn into a
Hang on,
wolf.
hang
not a
on, hang
horse.
on, hang on. Let Tavi finish her sentence.
But I
Okay.
did I? Mostly I was just saying how Shiver had a version of the story that I hadn't heard yet. So I'm guessing there's more than one version of that particular character in some of the lore books.
Probably. I'm going off V20's Beckett Jihad diary.
Okay. I've been watching lore videos, and I just remember something about someone who was hunting Beckett and trying to kill him, and then he thought it would be funny to turn her into a vampire, and then he left thinking that would be the end of it, and then she kept hunting him anyway.
That
Oh,
could well be
interesting.
Marie, yeah.
But I didn't catch the part about her being an SS officer, so
Well,
maybe that's a different story, or
it was something that they quite wisely chose not to actually expand upon and just put in passing that she was an evil bitch before, and she's now an even more evil undead bitch. But let's just leave that to the side and not go into the whole that bit.
But-
And just concentrate
but-
on her being a vampire.
but
We have so
bitches
much
are
in common.
cute. Nobody else got that joke.
So, any questions from anyone about anything that we could potentially answer, at least on Twitch? I know I have to be specific.
Traven said, I assume this was to my Shiver saying that the SI use Thin Blood or me saying, "Oh, yes, the kindred in SI." He said there's Blade. Was Blade part of the Second Inquisition?
No, he would just be a vampire hunter
Okay, that's what I thought.
and a thin blood.
Hmm.
Thin bloods are in this weird position where they're complete pawns to absolutely everyone, and even the anarchs, who are probably towards the most sympathetic side of them, even they quite happily just use them for their own gains, because thin bloods, a lot of them, if not all of them, can walk in the sun. So the Camarilla dangle the carrot of we'll make you a full kindred if you go and do this for us. The anarchs are pretty much the same. The SI quite happily make use of them and say, yeah, we'll cure you of your disease. We know a cure for it. There's no
It's true. Even
They
our
do
even
know
our even our Bruja domain had thin bloods in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Uh,
the Thin Blood that sent us on freaking Alice in Wonderland.
Kill that guy. How did he find out where I lived?
Dhampir are a bit weird, Celisk, because they're usually the progeny of thin bloods, because some thin bloods can actually have children, and Dhampir is a semi-thin blood, semi-revenant type thing, but they're also mortal. They're very weird.
A Dhampir is pretty much a vampire without many of the weaknesses, but also ages.
Yeah. Or can age. Again, some of them age, some of them don't age. Whereas thin bloods are a little bit more uniform in their common traits, whereas Dhampir, all over the place. They can be closer to a revenant, they can be closer to a thin blood, they can even be closer to a full-blooded kindred without being kindred. Is Blade more a Dhampir than a thin blood? I'd say he's more of a thin blood because he was much stronger and he was able to do vampire powers, whereas a Dhampir isn't guaranteed to have necessarily any powers.
Of course, there are also different laws too.
That's true.
More,
I'll admit, one of the hardest things trying to get this little story beat with Amon going is the fact that there isn't much information about the Second Inquisition in V5. So Shiver and I are kind of working on very little information. So hopefully we don't go into specifics, but
was he born?
I'll try my best.
So he would probably be a Dhampir then. Smart ass bastard fast cat.
Yeah, and I think in Blade is Marvel, right?
Yes.
DC.
What
Yeah,
would the half breed in Underworld be?
Is it half breed of?
You mean werewolf
Vampire.
and vampire?
Dead.
Okay, just curious.
You can't. Werewolves
Yeah,
in World of
He was in
Darkness.
the very
werewolves are
first
born.
one and the second one.
Werewolves are born in World of Darkness, and if they try and turn them, they die.
Right,
Yeah.
but what happens if maybe because sorry, not skating. Thin blood can sometimes conceive a child. So what happens when a thin blood and a Garou try and conceive a child with each other? I think that's more of the question. Not really trying to turn a Garou. What about having a child with one?
Well, so the problem is a lot
Probably
of times
stillborn.
if a Garou mates with a human, that child will not be a werewolf. A Garou needs to mate with a kinfolk. Now kinfolk can be gold, and you could. I think you can. I think you could turn a kinfolk into a vampire. But I don't know. I wouldn't know what would happen if you have a low enough generation vampire kinfolk that was then impregnated by a werewolf. That I don't think it's ever happened.
To be fair, I was starting to look this stuff up at one point because back when the whole No-Mah stuff was going on, and I wasn't sure if I was the Ripper or not. I can't remember what chain of thinking got me on this. And I didn't last very long because I realized how ridiculous it would be, and Shiver is not going to do something like that. But I was thinking, because I knew for a fact that I was Kindred, right? But part of me is like, well, did I accidentally get turned into a werewolf when that one attacked me or something like that? Because I also thought that I didn't know how Garou worked in World of Darkness. I thought it was like traditional werewolf folklore where it's like you get bitten, you turn into one. And so I was just like,
I was thinking of actually doing a scene with the Tremere and showing what happens when a werewolf is tried to turn into a kindred.
oh,
Guess I don't have
Well,
to
I
now.
mean, to be
We've done
fair-
that experiment a few times over the last 1,000 years.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty
But
sure
they do it again anyway, just to check.
Oh yeah. They're Tremere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fullerstan is right because I'm pretty sure in Werewolf Garou they're kind of like almost similar mages. They're kind of almost like two beings, but not quite. Like the Garou spirit is an entity, and they're kind of born into like a human or a wolf body, right? So I think what happens when a kinfolk is turned is that Guru spirit part of them is killed off, and then for werewolves, I think either they're just completely immune to the transformation. Yeah, I think they're just immune to the transformation. Their spirit won't allow them
It
to
rejects the worm
basically.
thing.
Yeah, it rejects it. And it's a similar thing for mage too, because in mage, if they're embraced, their avatar is killed.
Why does nobody take the Malkavians seriously? Tina!
You want me to answer that question?
Yeah, I think you're the best person to answer that question.
They're crazy, fucking, nonsensical shithead.
But highly prized for their ability to predict, or possibly predict, maybe futures.
I remember when we first started playing, that was what I wrote down about Kalo in my personal notes that I don't take anymore. Was that I think it was like it was Amon's connection to Kalo. It was finds annoying but thinks is useful.
Yeah. Any other questions, anybody then? That we might be able to answer? That don't involve what happens when X breeds with X.
That was an amusing.
Oh,
yeah, I wasn't
Amon.
expecting that.
Look up Samuel Haight.
Oh yeah, you've told me about him before. He's the one guy that's like everything.
All right, then. Well, next episode of London's Burning is this Saturday.
Friday.
Saturday.
It's
You might be
always
right.
either the day before what day it is for you. So what day is it for you?
Sunday.
So it's
Sunday.
Saturday.
Okay. I'll be honest, I can't remember
Saturday,
what day it was on
Friday
last
for us.
week.
Yeah, so which ours is the day before that, Saturday.
And we have
Yeah,
a special
'cause-
guest joining
yeah.
us. At least for the second half.
Ooh.
It's also my birthday game.
Yay.
Does
and it's
that
going to be
mean
Cedra's
Xavier's going
birthday
to be his birthday
tomorrow.
Whose?
Cedra.
Cheetah.
That's right. We do have close birthdays, actually. That came
Dead
out
Air on
last week.
Friday, VTM Saturday. That sounds right. Groundhog, that's Sunday for us.
Yep.
Cool. you will be getting answers to what the fuck is going on with that church? Who the fuck is doing these murders?
Yes.
And there will be a confrontation with Armon where we might get a bit more of his backstory come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should probably. I know that the information won't be for 5th edition, but I might go digging around and looking at Second Inquisition stuff just to prepare myself a little bit better for specifics if
Cool.
asked.
And tomorrow we'll do a mini-sode with the adventures of Rhapsody and Ricky,
Ooh, nice.
which is
What time?
normal
7:30.
Mm-hmm.
whatever time we did this.
7:30 Eastern.
Sounds good.
6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain, and 4:30 Pacific.
23:30
11:30
Eastern, I
GMT.
believe.
Earth 80,
Yeah.
8:30 a.m. Japan the following day.
And it's 11:30 a.m. New Zealand time.
Oh, you're
For all
exactly.
For all the mowers and
You're
Kiwis that
exact-
are watching.
Or if you want it in British time, because they're probably in
midnight.
UTC. Yeah, midnight or 11:30 UTC, because New Zealand is exactly 12 hours ahead.
Only some
At the
parts of
moment.
it. I think. I don't know. I'm not time
No,
zones.
all of New Zealand besides the Chatham Islands are in New Zealand time, and the Chatham Islands are 45 minutes ahead.
Well, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for coming. And if we don't see you tomorrow, we'll see you Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So bad at this.
So many different time zones.
Saturn's Day.
I'll be honest, I kind of just forgot what day we did it on last week. That's why I said Friday.
Yeah, I do set the schedule Star Helix each week, so it does the math for you. Excellent. All right. Thank you all for
Mhm.
coming. See you spoon.
Um,
Well, I remember because I nearly forgot. Oscavian, where can we find you outside of here?
London's burning this Saturday.
Nitro,
The Discord.
Typat, where can we find you outside of here?
Twitter.com/NitroTypeout. And same on Twitch.
Groundhog, where can we find you outside of here?
I am Groundhog 2010 or Groundhog 2010 on Twitch. I occasionally stream. I am on the Discord, obviously, and I am Groundhog 20101 on Twitter.
Ricky Tiki Tavi, where can we find you outside of
Hi.
here?
I
saying
am
Ricky
on
Tiki Tavi.
twitch.tv on twitch.tv/Tavi_the_Wolfus and on Twitter at twitter.com/TaviWolf, TAVIWOLF. And I am also hanging out in the Discord and generally just causing trouble in a myriad of places.
And last but by no means least, Tino, where can we find you?
On the Discord, but I might stream Sunday with my child. I might.
Social links are down below. Nitro, do you have an OnlyFans page?
Yeah, but right now it's set to private.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So your privates are set to private.
Mhm. As they should be.
And we'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye.